The accusations against Morris inspired legislation at the Texas state capitol, a bill banning deals preventing sexual abuse victims from sharing their stories.
Robert Morris once stood as one of the most powerful and respected pastors in America. He built a massive church, gained millions of followers, and became a trusted voice in Christian leadership. But now, things aren't looking good for him. Shocking accusations, growing public pressure, and serious questions about his past have started burning everything he worked for over the years. Supporters who once defended him are beginning to pull back, while critics are demanding answers that cannot be ignored anymore. As the case evolves, many people are wondering how deep this situation really goes and what it could mean for his future, his church, and those around him. Is this the sign of a complete downfall? Join us as we uncover the full details of the story. Man of influence. Robert Morris spent many years building the image of a trusted church leader. Before he became famous, he traveled across different churches as a young preacher in Texas. He slowly gained attention because of his energetic sermons and simple speaking style. Many people connected with the way he explained religion and family life. Over time, he built strong friendships with influential church leaders. Those connections helped him expand his reach across large Christian communities in America. In the year 2000, Morris founded Gateway Church in Southlake, Texas. The church started small, but growth happened very quickly. In a matter of time, thousands of people began attending services every week. The church later opened several campuses across the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Gateway became one of the largest megachurches in the United States. Large crowds, expensive buildings, modern productions, and strong media promotion helped create the image of a successful ministry with national influence. Morris became known for preaching about money, generosity, and blessings. One of his most popular teachings focused on financial giving inside the church. His sermons reached millions through television broadcasts, online videos, books, and radio programs. Many supporters believed his teachings helped improve their lives and relationships. His message was easy for many people to understand. That simple style helped him grow faster than many traditional pastors who used more formal and complex preaching methods. As Gateway Church expanded, Morris also became a powerful public figure. His influence reached political leaders, business executives, and wealthy church donors. His church hosted large conferences that attracted visitors from different countries. Well-known Christian speakers often appeared at Gateway events. The church became famous for its huge worship gatherings and modern church experience. Many people saw Gateway as an example of how a modern American church could become successful on a massive level. His personal brand also continued growing outside the church. Morris wrote several best-selling Christian books that sold widely across bookstores and church events. He appeared regularly on Christian television programs and podcasts. His media team carefully built a strong public image around him. That image helped him attract loyal followers who trusted his leadership and supported his ministry financially for many years. Financial success became closely connected to the rise of Gateway Church. Large donations, tithes, conferences, book sales, and media partnerships helped create enormous wealth around the ministry. Morris lived a lifestyle that reflected the success of his growing organization. Critics sometimes questioned how much money megachurch leaders earned, but loyal supporters defended the church's expansion and financial structure. Public attention around megachurch wealth increased as Gateway continued growing larger each year. Morris also developed strong national connections through politics and public events. He served as part of an evangelical advisory group connected to President Donald Trump during the 2016 campaign season. That relationship gave him even more national attention. In 2020, Trump appeared at Gateway Church during a public discussion event. Gradually, Morris became one of the better-known evangelical pastors connected to conservative political circles in America. Inside the church world, many younger pastors looked up to Morris as a model for building successful ministries. Gateway Church trained leaders, supported church programs, and developed educational partnerships. Morris helped establish a branch of the King's University in Southlake, His leadership style focused heavily on growth, branding, and media communication. That strategy helped Gateway become more than a local church. It turned into a large organization with national and international influence across Christian communities. For many years, Morris carefully protected his reputation in public. He often spoke openly about personal mistakes from his younger years, but those stories were usually presented as examples of redemption and spiritual growth. His supporters saw him as proof that a person could recover from failure and still become successful. That image remained strong for years and helped protect his standing among loyal followers. However, very few people expected the public image surrounding Robert Morris to collapse so suddenly. The scandal that destroyed Robert Morris. For many years, almost no public attention focused on Robert Morris's past. Then everything changed very quickly during the summer of 2024. Reports published online suddenly brought forward serious misconduct allegations connected to events from the 1980s. The story spread across news websites, television programs, and social media platforms within hours. Many church members soon discovered the controversy as reports appeared everywhere. The allegations came from Cindy Clemishire, who publicly described harmful actions that allegedly began when she was an underage girl. According to her account, Morris was a traveling preacher in his early 20s during that time. Their families reportedly knew each other closely, allowing him frequent access to their home. She explained that the misconducts continued over several years across Oklahoma and Texas. The details shocked many people because Morris had spent decades presenting himself as a trusted leader with strong moral authority. The controversy became even more serious after Morris released a public response admitting to what he called serious inappropriate conduct many years earlier. His statement immediately increased public attention because it confirmed parts of the accusations instead of rejecting everything completely. Many people online criticized the wording of the statement because they believed it reduced the seriousness of the situation. Describing the accuser as a young lady avoided acknowledging that she had been a minor during the reported events decades earlier. News organizations quickly began investigating the history behind the allegations. Reports revealed that concerns connected to Morris had existed privately for many years before the scandal became public in 2024. Information also surfaced showing that the woman involved had reportedly tried to warn ministries and church leaders earlier. Those details increased criticism toward both Morris and church leadership.
Morris resigned last summer after admitting to, quote, inappropriate sexual behavior.
Because many people believed warning signs had already existed for a very long time. Public reaction became intense almost immediately after the story spread nationwide. Social media filled with anger, disappointment, and frustration from church members and former supporters. Some people defended Morris and argued that the events happened decades earlier. Others believed the admissions alone destroyed his credibility completely. The controversy expanded far beyond religious communities and became major national news across television and online platforms throughout America. The situation became worse as more details continued appearing publicly. Reports explained that Morris had temporarily stepped away from ministry during the late 1980s before later returning to church leadership. Many people questioned how he managed to rebuild a massive religious career after serious allegations reportedly existed in his background. The allegation became one of the most widely discussed scandals involving an American megachurch leader in recent years. The scandal reopened larger conversations about accountability, secrecy, and leadership failures inside large megachurch organizations across the United States. Large numbers of online discussions focused on the power imbalance between an older church leader and a minor. Critics argued that powerful religious systems sometimes protected influential pastors, while people affected by misconduct remained ignored. Gateway Church soon announced that Morris had officially resigned from leadership. The church's board of elders released statements expressing sadness and concern surrounding the allegations. Plans were also made for outside investigations into the situation. Despite those announcements, Many members remained deeply upset. Public trust inside the church began weakening rapidly as questions grew about who knew certain information before the scandal became public nationwide through news organizations and online reports. As public pressure increased, media organizations uncovered additional disputes connected to the church and Morris himself. Lawsuits later accused church leadership of helping protect reputations and financial interests instead of prioritizing transparency. Some former church members also raised concerns about how donations and church money had reportedly been managed over the years. The situation slowly transformed from a single allegation into a much larger crisis involving leadership, trust, finances, and accountability. The controversy continued expanding throughout 2025 as legal developments moved forward. Authorities in Oklahoma later charged Morris with multiple counts connected to serious misconduct involving a minor from the 1980s. That same year, reports confirmed that he accepted legal responsibility connected to the case. The downfall shocked many people who once viewed him as untouchable inside religious and political circles after decades of influence and national attention. But what's more interesting is his members' reaction, the unhidden internal crisis. The reaction inside Gateway Church became deeply emotional after Robert Morris resigned from leadership. Many church members arrived at weekend services feeling shocked and confused about the situation. Some families had attended the church for many years and struggled to process the sudden collapse of a leader they trusted for decades. Staff members and volunteers also faced intense pressure as national media coverage continued growing. The atmosphere around church campuses changed quickly as conversations about trust and leadership exploded across the country. Gateway Church leaders moved quickly to calm the growing public crisis. The church's board of elders released public statements explaining that they had recently learned new details connected to the serious accusations. They announced that Morris's resignation had officially been accepted. Those statements were meant to reassure members as the church planned a more serious response to the growing pressure surrounding the organization. Despite those efforts, many members remained frustrated with church leadership. Some believed important information had been hidden for too long. Others questioned how elders could claim they did not fully understand the seriousness of the accusations earlier. Longtime members began discussing whether leaders had properly investigated Morris's past before allowing him to continue leading such a massive organization. They accused leadership of protecting the church's public image instead of prioritizing transparency and accountability during difficult situations. The first church services after Morris's resignation became extremely tense. Some members continued attending worship services, while others decided to stay home completely. Small groups of demonstrators gathered outside certain church campuses, holding signs demanding accountability from leadership. Inside the church, elders spoke emotionally about the situation and encouraged members to remain united during the difficult period. Still, many attendees appeared visibly upset during those services. Former staff members also began speaking publicly about their experiences inside Gateway Church. Some described frustration over how leadership handled difficult situations behind the scenes. Others claimed the church culture focused heavily on protecting reputation and maintaining public image. These stories added even more attention to the public crisis because they suggested larger organizational problems beyond the accusations involving Morris himself. Public trust in Gateway leadership continued weakening as more accounts surfaced one by one. Not every supporter turned against Morris immediately after the news became public. Some loyal followers defended him publicly and focused heavily on forgiveness and redemption. Certain church members argued that Morris had admitted past mistakes many years earlier and had already stepped away from ministry in the past. They believed decades had passed without additional public controversies connected to him. People also worried that the situation could permanently damage the church community they had helped build for years through donations, volunteer work, and personal relationships inside the church. This divide created tension between members who demanded stronger accountability and those who wanted the church to move forward. Some members accused critics of trying to destroy the church completely. Others argued that real healing could not happen without full honesty and responsibility from leadership. Friendships inside the congregation became strained as different groups disagreed strongly about how the church should respond to the growing pressure and national attention surrounding the situation. Political and religious leaders connected to Morris also faced pressure during the public crisis. Some well-known evangelical figures stayed mostly silent, while others publicly condemned the serious accusations and leadership problems surrounding the case. Religious commentators across television, podcasts, and online platforms debated whether megachurch systems gave too much unchecked power to high-profile pastors. Many argued that independent oversight inside megachurch organizations remained far too weak and inconsistent across the country. As weeks passed, discussions inside Gateway Church became increasingly focused on the future of leadership. Members questioned who would guide the church moving forward and whether attendance would decline sharply. Rumors also spread online about possible leadership changes involving Morris's family members who served in church roles. Some members went as far as stating that they would leave the church if leadership stayed connected to the Morris family. Others hoped new leadership could help stabilize the organization and slowly rebuild public trust. Legal disputes connected to the situation created even more pressure on church leadership. Court battles later focused on church communications, internal records, and leadership decisions made over many years. Gateway leaders argued that certain church discussions were considered legally protected by the church. Those arguments created additional criticism online because many observers believed the church appeared more focused on protecting itself legally than addressing public concerns openly and directly. Now, the question is, what happens to Morris's future? The long road to recovery. After stepping away from Gateway Church, Robert Morris disappeared from public ministry almost immediately. His television appearances stopped, conference invitations disappeared, and many religious organizations quietly removed his content from websites and promotional materials. Churches that once welcomed him as a guest speaker began distancing themselves from his name. Online sermons connected to his ministry also received heavy criticism in comment sections across social media platforms. The legal problems surrounding Morris continued growing long after his resignation from church leadership. Investigators and attorneys remained focused on events connected to the allegations from decades earlier. Court filings, legal documents, and media reports continued appearing throughout 2025 as the situation developed further. The ongoing legal process kept his name in national headlines even after he stopped appearing publicly through churches and ministry events. Financial concerns also became a major issue connected to Morris's future. Many people questioned whether book sales, speaking income, and media partnerships would continue after the controversy damaged his public image so severely. Religious organizations that once worked closely with him faced pressure from supporters demanding distance from the situation. Publishers and event organizers reportedly became cautious about future partnerships connected to his name. The financial systems built around his ministry crumbled. Attention also turned toward Morris's personal relationships and family life during the public crisis. Reports described how the controversy created emotional strain across people closely connected to him. Public scrutiny became intense because his family had long appeared heavily involved in ministry leadership and church activities. Questions arose as to whether family members would remain involved in leadership positions or quietly step away to avoid additional pressure connected to the controversy surrounding Morris and the church organization. Religious commentators continued debating whether Morris could ever return to ministry again in the future. Some supporters believed redemption and restoration should still remain possible despite the serious accusations surrounding his past. Others argued that leaders accused of misconduct involving minors should never return to positions of spiritual authority. Different pastors church leaders, and religious writers expressed completely different opinions about forgiveness, accountability, leadership, and long-term consequences for influential ministry figures facing public crises. The controversy also increased public attention toward the structure of megachurch leadership in the United States. Experts and religious critics argued that very large churches often gave too much authority to one central personality without enough independent oversight. Due to this, some church leaders announced plans to review internal policies involving leadership accountability and misconduct investigations. Morris's case became an example many people used while discussing larger concerns about power structures inside modern megachurch organizations nationwide. Media attention surrounding Robert Morris remained intense due to his past political connections and wide national influence. News outlets frequently revisited footage of his appearances alongside prominent conservative political figures and well-known religious leaders. Journalists explored how his rise within evangelical circles became closely tied to the growing influence of religion in American politics. The continued coverage also sparked broader discussions about the intersection of religious authority, celebrity status, media influence, and political power in the United States. For many observers, the situation became larger than one individual, reflecting wider questions about accountability and influence within modern evangelical leadership and public life. Former church members and religious critics also continued speaking publicly about their experiences connected to Gateway Church. Some described feeling disappointed after spending years supporting the ministry financially and emotionally. Others explained that the controversy damaged their trust in organized religion completely. Online groups filled with discussions from former supporters trying to process the situation together. Meanwhile, these conversations often focused less on Morris himself and more on broader concerns involving leadership culture, loyalty, secrecy, and accountability inside large religious organizations with national influence and massive financial resources. Every court update, legal motion, and media interview attracted major online discussion and national attention. As time passed, uncertainty continued surrounding Morris's long-term future outside church leadership. Some observers believed he would eventually attempt smaller private ministry work away from major public attention. Others believed his public reputation had suffered too much damage for any meaningful return to influence. The future of his books, teachings, and earlier ministry content also remained unknown as churches and religious organizations reconsidered their connections to his legacy. Conversations surrounding his downfall continued shaping debates inside modern American evangelical movements and megachurch systems. If you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe, and also click the next video shown on your screen.